ஞானத்தின் ஆழம், அர்த்தமுள்ள ஆன்மீகம்.
My wishes to all Arul Jothi TV viewers. Today we are going to talk about something very close to our lives. Something that really we should think about. And this cannot be, this cannot be considered as something that we can see for a few minutes, watch this program for a few minutes and then we'll forget. But I request we should take these things that we discuss here seriously, and we should consider inquiring into this and really discover in our own way. And we don't have to really believe here whatever I am saying, but you should consider inquiring and discovering, exploring into whatever I am saying, because this is our lives, and I'm not going to talk about my life or your life alone. And all our lives on this earth are almost the same. All our lives here are almost the same. We are being educated in schools, and we are working in various places, and we have all of us live in a family where we face all kinds of problems that we go through. What the society is now is the result of the past. Our maturity or immaturity within ourselves has manifested as the society. Can we just honestly see how the world is currently and how the society is currently? How much corruption, how much violence in the society, and how much inferiority and superiority in society, how much poverty is there, how much red tapeism and violence in the name of religion, and hatred between one religion and the other religion. All this show how we are within ourselves. With the way we are within ourselves has manifested as the society outside, externally. Man's mind is the man's society. Can we see this? Whatever the mind of the human being is the society of the human being. And do we also see how much we exploit the nature? How much utilitarian in our attitude towards the earth and the nature. We consider the earth to be something used by the human being for his own benefits. We think that the earth is something that can be played by our hands, like a toy, whatever we can do with the earth. Do we really? But what is the fact here? We are one of the species that is supposed to live along with the nature harmoniously, having our right place, taking our own space and giving the space to the other species. But the way, do you see the way we live? How do we live? We think the nature is something like a toy that we can play with. That is how we have made of the earth. We have exploited these oceans. We have exploited the forest, the land, the water in the land. We have polluted so many rivers. When you look at all these things, we inevitably we have to ask this question: how much educated we really are? How educated we really are? We consider all ourselves as an educated person. Unfortunately, we consider all ourselves educated, cultured, civilized people, civilized human beings. Is this the way that the civilized human beings live? So if this is the way the civilized human beings live, then we will have to say, unfortunately, we are not civilized. We are not really educated, because facts speak for themselves. The facts speak that how we have lived. That shows us how much educated, how much, whether we are really educated or not. We are educated if we consider, or if you consider the education to be a skill that is taught in the schools to earn some money, or to raise our positions in the society. If you think the education is a skill accumulation or a learning of some skills to earn some money, in that way, if you say education is all about just this, then we are educated. But is education all about just this? This is the question we are asking today. And I think if you are really a thinking human being, not just a believing or a monotonous mechanical human being, if you think that we really have a brain that can really think, and if you really consider our brain is not just a robot that can be programmed by others, if you think that our brain has an independent ability to think, then we should ask this question and inquire whether education is just all about learning some skills that can accumulate some money, learning some skill that can raise one's own position in society. If education is all about this, or is there something more in education? What is real education? We need to ask this question sincerely, honestly, to find out what is real education is all about. You would be able to hear some birds, sound of some birds. And you see that one can be connected to nature. One listens carefully to the sounds of birds, to the sound of the rain, the colors of the leaves, and the art of the lightning. Art of the lightning, what do I mean by that is the lightning in a natural art that is displayed in the screen of the sky before it rains, and the music of thunder, music of this extraordinary powerful thunder. So all these are there in a human life. But do we see all this? Do we enjoy all this? Or are we programmed by the society to think all the time about money, and think all the time about a few concepts we have accumulated, or a religious concept, or keep repeating, thinking about the family, or work. It seems that we are programmed, our brain is programmed by society in a certain way to live a pattern of life monotonously, repeatedly doing the same thing. And this monotonous pattern of human life has dulled his senses, and man has lost his contact with the nature, and which is a possibility of bigger life, more blissful and joyful life for oneself. Our education has not taught our connection with nature. Our education has not even taught anything. Our education, our current education, has helped us to accumulate some memory, some techniques and memory, and our education has used only a small, tiny part of our brain which can memorize certain things. But our brain can be much more alive when it looks at the vast ocean, that extraordinary space of the sky and the beautiful colors of birds, and only then one can realize how big the life is. Is the life all about the mind that we are carrying inwardly? There is, everyone carries his own inner world. So our education nourishes that inner world. It says you just a few things you do in life, and that is all about it. Our education doesn't. The education doesn't deal with the question, what is life? A teacher should sit with a student and explore what is life, but rather what the teacher has become as representative of the society. But teacher should be an awakener in his classroom, to an awakener in his classroom who can untrap the student from the programs of the society. What does the society do? Society, you see, in society deals with politics, movies, and a lot of technological games, and they're marketing consumerist aspect of the society, the different kinds of the junk foods, chocolates, toys. So all that which comes with a consumerist attitude to the the child's mind, appealing to the child's mind, which can really take away his capacity to think independently. The child is not allowed to think independently. Rather, a child is used in a society to program so that he can just supply whatever the society wants. But a teacher in the classroom, a teacher should be really a person who can awaken children, awaken a child, awaken a student to look at and inquire into the traps that society unfolds in front of his eyes. A teacher should help the student to question the entertainment industry, which is exploiting the child's time, child's energy. A teacher should help a student to question everything, including the religion, existence of God. The society is trying to program a child, a student, into a fresh human being, a child into a Muslim, into a Hindu, and into a party person. The society is trying to trap every human being into a party. They want to make use of that human being, fresh human being, program a party slogan, political party slogan into his brain, and use him for the party. And in every company you take whatever digital company, they are trying to program every human being to use their product. So a human being who comes afresh to this world is seen is a vacant space. A fresh human being who comes into this world is a fresh space, a fresh pot. But that is an advantage in itself, but still it is really a complicated thing, because the society can fill anything into that fresh pot. Society can use it as a dustbin also. It can drop all its wastes. The society itself is full of junk here. So this fresh human being coming with the fresh space and energy within himself, what are we going to do with him? What is the child, what is the school going to do? What is the education society going to do? So it is very important that teacher should be a different human being. He should not be a part of the society. A teacher should be really awake to the facts that education is not just about catering the needs of the society, but the awakening of the individual, awakening of one's heart and the brain, awakening of a child to the facts of the societies, facts of the religion, facts of what the current life is, and should help the child to find out a different kind of life, a new kind of life that he really wants to live. We can see how everyone's life ends up at last in this society, in particularly in the Indian society. It looks like the parents and the elders are really living the life of a child. It looks like that. It doesn't seem that one really, that a child or a student living his own life. It looks like elders are living, or parents are living their life through this child. Is there freedom of thinking in the classroom for a student? And is there freedom of thinking for a child or a boy or a girl in the family? The freedom, isn't freedom for thinking really important for one to find out his own life? You see, education is the nourishment of an individual's thinking capacity, nourishment of an individual's capacity to discover and explore life for oneself. And education should be a flame within oneself that is encouraging the discovery of one's life and discovery of the world in his own way. Every child, every human being who comes into this earth comes with a certain passion, but that may unfold later in his life when he grows up freely. That passion can unfold itself only when a human being is allowed to flower freely without inhibitions. That flame can unfold, that passion can unfold itself only when he or she is allowed to express himself freely, question freely. That light can unfold itself only when the human being is allowed to question and inquire in an atmosphere that is free from fear and free from authority to say this is right and this is wrong. A child that grows up in an atmosphere in which he is always judged and he is pointed out, this is right, this is wrong, and this is good, this is bad, then he starts suppressing himself. He doesn't suppress just the thoughts. He starts suppressing his virtues. He starts suppressing his talents, skills, intellect, intelligence, and all that he suppresses, starts suppressing. When he starts suppressing it, he becomes a lifeless human being, a dull and lifeless human being. We should question ourselves, are we here to produce a lifeless, dull mechanism? Is our education all about producing a dull human being? Or is education all about producing a slave who can just do whatever the society says? Or Is it possible for us to help a child flower as an intelligent, creative, independently thinking, inquiring, a discovering human being? This can happen only when we are free from judgment. Only when we are free from the judgmental attitude towards a child or a human being. When we constantly judge a person, we put him in fear. Once fear comes in, creativity exits, expression exits, question stops, suppresses itself. For the right education, for the real education to happen, we need to facilitate an atmosphere in which a child can question, child can inquire, create something on its own. We are fixing deadlines which can really give stress to the children. When we fix deadlines, when we demand certain scores, marks, and when we start ranking people, compare one child with the other, and we are branding somebody as inferior and some other as superior. And this affects the confidence of the child, and he loses trust in life, trust in education, trust in system of education. So once one loses trust, he loses his energy to live. So trust gives the energy to express oneself, and the hope of a happy life comes from the trust. So we are here to facilitate the right education, the real education, the education that is free from judgments, fear, psychological evaluations, that which hinders the flowering of the child. We need to free the fear. We need to free the child from the fear that which is like a black cloud that is covering up his own creativity and love for life. We are here to create a joyful learning, and learning that cannot just from the learning that is not just about the books, but that is by hearing and connecting to nature, hearing the sounds of birds and playing in rain and looking at the sunset and sunrise, and learn not only just from books, by looking, listening and speaking in a friendly atmosphere in the classroom. And more deeply, we are here to produce a human being that is not just like the human beings that society has produced, that a human being that which follows the old patterns of society, but a new human being who can really produce a new society, who can really bring up a new world of harmony, a new world of peace, new world of integrated living with nature and all the humanity. So, education has got much more deeper meaning And only education has the transformative, the power of transformation all lies in the right kind of education that we can facilitate in this world. Thank you very much, viewers. See you.